How's it going today? I'm running a couple of videos close together here. I just had one yesterday about how to take your real life characters and turn them into comic book. But I thought I would share another little tip that can go along with that, and it's how to pose your characters, keeping the same character but giving them different poses so that you can use them in a comic book. So let me show you a couple of different ways that that can be done. So I like both of these methods a lot. I don't really have a favorite. They come in handy for different reasons. Sometimes I'll use one, sometimes the other. So let's start on the first one here. We're going to drag in a picture of the pose that we're going to want our character to have. So I drug in this picture of the Hulk. That's the pose I want my character to have. And I brought in a picture of the character that I created. One thing that makes this method easier is if you match up your body style. So I have this big muscular guy. So I'm the Hulk's going to be the closest match to him. So what we're going to do is copy his head and his head only, and we're going to paste it over here. So we copied his head here. It's a little bit oversized, so we'll just have to shrink it down, and we're gonna flip that on its horizontal so that it's the right angle. Um, what's important here is to try to find angles that match or or at least close. The AI can fix some of these issues, but not all of them. So you see that this head matches really well. So now the color of the body, since my guy's more of a red, we're going to change the hue of this body a little bit here and make it more red, um, which is pretty easy to do. We just run this slider back until we get a color that's close to what ours is, and maybe bring up the saturation just a little bit. And that pretty well matches there. So we're going to save that image, and then we're going to take it over to Fooocus. Okay, so over here in Fooocus, let's do our setup real quick. We're going to set this to very subtle down here on the for the image input. Make sure that you've got input image checked over here. Um, make sure advanced is checked here, and we'll go over here. This is an upright photo, so I'm going to give him an upright portrait style. Over on the style section, I always leave V2 checked. We're going to run enhance, sharp, hyperrealism, masterpiece, and photograph, and that'll be good enough for the moment. So now let's bring our image in. Okay, so there's our image that we created in Photoshop. And what we're going to do now is put in our prompt that we used to create this character. Now, something I really advise, and some people don't do this, but you're going to find out that this is a great help, is when you come up with a prompt that makes a really great and consistent character, make sure you save that prompt, because sometimes one word will make a difference. And when you stumble across a really good one, it's worth saving. So this is the prompt I used to create that original red character, and I'm going to put that in here. Like I said, we're on very subtle, and we're going to run this. Okay, you can see that it did a really good job, changed over the skin to that more of a burnt look that our character had. And if it's not made the change completely the way you want it, so you can always take this image here and drag it down as your image prompt and run it one more time, and it'll refine it even more into relationship to the character that you created. So I'm really happy with the way this character came out. If I were doing this for one of my comics or something, I would go into Photoshop and give him smaller feet because my character doesn't have those large feet. The whole point here was to show you how we could take this head and use our character and put it on a different body. Now, the other technique we're going to do is completely different, and we're going to go over to the image prompt section here, and we're going to drag in the character that we want to use, which in this instance, I'm going to bring in this character right here, which is a really good representation of the original character I made. And then the pose that we're going to do, once again, I'll use the Hulk. Body size, he matches up really well to my character. So what we want to do here is make sure that your original character is set on face swap, and your pose that you want is set on the canny over here. Um, we're going to leave the sliders right here on the default for now. We may have to play with those a little bit depending on, how well it takes. So let's go ahead and just run this. Leave all the other settings the same and leave your prompt in there. And let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. So you can see we got a really good character, and this method for this character probably worked better than the other method. It's got the scarring and everything really well, and this is definitely my character, and it doesn't look anything like the Hulk anymore. But it's got that jumping, punching pose that I tried for a good hour trying to get a prompt to give me that, and I just couldn't do it. So this is the way to do it. So anyway, there you go. There's a couple of ways to pose characters. And like I said, you can surf the internet and it doesn't matter whether you're using like a John Wick character, a Star Wars character, just go find somebody with a similar body style to what your character has and use that for your pose. Now, we didn't run into it here, so I couldn't show you, but sometimes it will take these two characters and kind of blend them a little bit. Well, if you're getting more of this guy and not as much of the pose, bring the weight up to, 1.1, 1.2. I wouldn't go much higher than that. And if you're getting too much of this guy and it's making your original character has some green or some things on him you don't like, bring this weight up. And I wouldn't go more than 90 on that. But those two sliders give you control over which one of these is dominant in the finished product. So anyway, I hope this helps you out. If it does, leave me a like or a subscribe. And if you see something we're doing, that's wrong or we could do better, let us know in the comments. All right. See you in the next video.